Hi everyone, it's me. And if you like my channel, please like and subscribe. There's a notifications bell down here that'll let you know when I'm coming live, like right now. So this has been an exciting week. I've been still fighting this exhaustion. I don't really know what happened. Um, but yesterday we went down with Seattle Dogs Homeless Program, me and Rowan, and the lady who is has a company called Swell Gelato, and we went out and went under the bridge on Spokane and Fourth, and started helping. Well, giving treats, giving something kind and something that enhances the quality of life. It was not doggy gelato is not a need, but it would put me in mind of all the times that people maybe gave me something that was something I wanted or something in a kindness, and my quality of life improved because of that. And I just think it's really wonderful when we see things like that, where people just doing kindness wherever they can. And this is, of course, an extremely busy woman and has a lot going on, like all of us. And I was just really amazed. And always, of course, I am amazed by Laura, and even thinking about Laura and thinking about Seattle Dogs Homeless Program. I just want to say that I remember when I got Rowan. I'd been watching her for a month, and the current owner was providing the food. And I remember when they asked me if I wanted her to own her, I said, she needed a home. Her previous owner was unable to care for her. I thought long and hard about the fact that I was living under a bridge, and if I couldn't barely care for myself, how was I going to care for this animal? And I made the decision to go all in, do what it takes. If it's an extra 3 hours standing out with a sign, that's what we were going to do. And in exchange for her patience with me, Rowan's patience with me, um, I made her a promise to always, always try to give her the best life that I could. Sorry. And the person who really made that possible when I was out there was Lora and the Seattle Dogs Homeless Program. I remember her showing up and finding this beautiful leash, or knowing that I like to change Rowan's collars for the seasons. So bringing me some bright, beautiful collars for her. Food, the most amazing food that kept her coat beautiful. Spay and neuter. These things, it was part of saving our life. And through that time, I have become very close with Laura. She is a phenomenal person, and I will love her forever. Um, she's a very special person in my life. Um, so there's that. That's what we did yesterday, and it was really amazing. And I got to meet some really cool people too. There was this woman named Dee Powers, and we had a really good discussion about, sweeps, and the things that were going on with that. Oh, thank you, Iva. Um, so there was that, and now, and I put that video. Oh, that's another thing, guys. If you get a chance, I uploaded the video, the interview that I did with Laura and Debbie from Swell. So if you get a chance, please go back. There's I think, let's see, it's 3:35. So I think there's six and a half, a little under 6.5 hours before the Give Big campaign closes its way out. Hi, Trevor. I am. Just because, and the thing is emotions, again, don't take away from happiness. Like, that's part of my happiness, is the fact that we made it through that, and not only made it through it, but made it through it in some really beautiful ways, and have a good quality of life now. So this Mother's Day, the weekend, I will be going out with a group called West Seattle Cares. I've mentioned that before. And I again want to thank Jeff H. for sending supplies for us to take out there. Um, oh, hi, Jill. Thank you. I appreciate that. And so, and one of the, okay, so we were at this event, we were under the bridge, and we're sitting down. And this is actually one of the things I wanted to talk about. There was a man that came up, and he asked us if we were dealing with the Sergio 7, as we call them. And it's these 7 little dogs. And if you want to see pictures, you can go to my Instagram. And on Instagram, I'm at Manda J. Richer. That's not Amanda, it's MandaJRicher. And that's my Instagram account. You can see pictures of these dogs. And he was asking, like, well, yeah, they finally swept all those guys out from under here and put gates up. And I was just like, I cringed. And I let him go for a minute until he said, if I could do it, so could they. I said, hold the phone. Ugh. Hold the phone. Like, we are a unique population of human beings. We all have different attributes, different skills, different ways of handling situations, different perceptions, different brains. We all have we might live in a similar reality, but our perception of reality, every single one of us, is different through our experiences and everything else. So it always ceases to amaze me or it never ceases to amaze me when people put their own spin on, if I could, why can't? And I told him, I said, I've had people say that to me. The other day I had a woman in my building say, well, you're a success story. And I was like, well, whose measurements though? I mean, like, who's holding the stick as to what's successful and what's failure? Because I think that really depends. I mean, because that's a level of perception. Because I definitely can't say, if I could do it, well, why can't A, B, or C? Because I don't know A, B, or C's situation. I don't have the data sets on that. I don't know what they're facing. I don't know, if I haven't experienced it, what I can or cannot get through. It always surprises me what I can get through, but it also surprises me when I break over some small stuff. You know, so I told him, I said, I don't think that's fair. I said, because somebody else could be looking at you and saying, well, I was successful in ABC. How come you didn't do that? And so it never works. That line of reasoning about if I could or if they could, it's always kind of anecdotal when we hear it. It's like, well, I had a brother, or I had a cousin's sister's mother's auntie. Or I had a friend's friend, or I knew, or you, or I did this. And I would love to think in my head that I had complete control over everything in my life, but that's false. There were many, many experiences that I have had in my life that I had zero control over what happened to me. My only control was how I was going to get through it and deal with it. And the experiences before that shaped me into how I dealt with things. My cognitive ability to be able to grasp things and make decisions, and healthy decisions, not just decisions and choices, but the things that are healthy and could advance me. That's very different than someone else. And other people are better at it than I am. I think that as a human being, we make mistakes, we fall. But there's also things that we have to understand that shape us and shape our viewpoint and our world and our being. And we have to be able to think about that. And when necessary, weigh it against factual data and say, Does this make sense? Is this adding up? Because I know that without treatment and without a good support system and without changing some of the aggressive policies and the misnomers and stereotypes, that the majority of people are going to have a very hard time getting better. It's just the way it is. Without a healthy habitat, you don't have healthy human beings. And that's the way that goes. And it's really a downward spiral. Because if the person was unhealthy to begin with, and then they have the added trauma of losing everything, their skill set for being able to develop a healthy plan for getting out of it is significantly diminished. So, so I went with my bulldog self and pretty much was like, listen, and I listened to what he had to say. But honestly, it was like a handbook of hate. I mean, not hate, but intolerance. I mean, I've heard it all before. Every single one of the things that he said, I have heard before and know to be either untrue or a stereotype. I didn't even, like he said, his situation. And then at the end of this, he looked at me and he said, well, me and you, I understand, but there are people like us that are completely fine and able to. And I stopped him right there. I said, what makes you think I'm completely fine? Because I just had a discussion with you? I have, I have all sorts of issues. I am definitely not completely fine. I hope to be completely fine someday. But right now, I'm in therapy. I'm on medication. I am making steps to think about my thinking and be a better human being. But I will not say that I came through all of that trauma completely fine. And I don't think that that's honest if people do say that. There is a toll, not just mentally, but physically, a toll that trauma takes. And that's just fact. That's just the way it is physiologically on a cellular level. When we undergo trauma externally, it has an effect on us, and a not very good one. And that's what they mean when they talk about toxic stress and good stressors. So I had this conversation, but I had to stop him because he just immediately made an assumption about me, that I was completely fine. I said, people came up to me and said that a lot while I was homeless. Well, you're holding a sign. You could be perfectly well and able to go and work. You don't know me and you're not a medical professional, nor are you one of my medical professionals. So as much as I appreciate street opinion over my doctors, I'm gonna have to just pass. That's how that goes. But the problem with that is street stereotypes like that and street opinions drive policy. And that's why we have to address it. And we can't just throw it away. Because, yeah, that may seem insane to me why any person would come up to me and say, you look fine. You are able to do A, B, and C. Not knowing me, not knowing my situation, not knowing my medical background, not knowing anything about me, and say that and make that judgment call. But those kind of strange going ons with people are what drive our public policy, and it drives and shapes the way that others view the world around them. And so I think it's important to address maybe these lapses in thinking or maybe these incomplete thoughts that people have. Is just because you have whatever condition that may be, unless you are an expert in that condition, I would tread very carefully on saying what a person is able to do and what they are not able to do. Because even if a person is a medical professional, without being that person's doctor, it is very difficult to know exactly what is going on with someone. And there are many, many disciplines that go on with that. It doesn't matter, what you think the treatment is or whatever. It's about having the knowledge to know, I don't know. I don't know what your situation is. I can see someone who looks perfectly fine one day, and they're smiling and they're laughing and they're interacting, and the next day they commit suicide. What happened? They look fine. And then there's a psychiatrist in the background going, I was warning. I said something. But to the untrained professional, they looked fine, looked great, seemed great. And we see this over and over, no matter what the issue is this insistence on underthinking rather than overthinking. And when I say overthinking, I'm not talking about worrying. Again, worrying is taking a problem and tumbling it around like a washing machine. And overthinking is analyzing. Not only analyzing the issue that you're thinking about, but analyze how am I thinking about that? And why do I think the things that I think about that? What shaped my thinking to believe that? Or why am I drawn to this data? Why am I drawn to my path? You know? So those are my thoughts, and I'm really excited about the West Seattle Cares event coming up. Stocking up stuff for that. Tomorrow is I'm going to have a wonderful meeting with Dana from Resolution to End Homelessness. Yay! And that when I talk about that, that's Dana, where she gives like the town halls where we get to learn about other organizations and companies that are giving back and the wonderful work that they're doing. So that's actually really exciting, and I love her program. And then I have community liaison meeting about city resident surveys, and I need to go do some outreach with the Democracy Voucher Program. And one of those, I will be uploading a video to tell everybody about the City of Seattle's Democracy Voucher Program. I'm very excited about that. So anyhow, I'm going to address your comments. If anybody has any questions or comments, now is the time to address those. If you want, in the description link, if you want to help me in my mission, there is a PayPal address or there is an Amazon wish list. So if you want to help, go to those two places and help me in my mission. Let's see. Jill, hello from the UK. Bliss, thumbs up. Thank you. It does take time to process through trauma for everyone. But the thing is, each person has their own length of time, and different ways that trauma affected them and adds or detracts from the quality of their life. Kate, oh, don't worry. I know you'll catch up. I'm just glad you made it, Kate. You're wonderful. So is that all? Is there any questions or anything? Takes as long as it takes for each person, right there. Exactly. There is no timeline. There isn't. There is, you know what? Okay, here's the timeline. Your life. Whether it be trauma or challenges or whatever that is, you have your life to figure it out. We all do. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, when Mark Horvath had interviewed me for Invisible People. Yeah. Actually, after that, before that, I'd had a blog on Facebook called Being Camp Mom. I still run it. What I usually do now, because I have the YouTube blog, is I will just like copy and paste this over there and have that go up. But yeah, I really enjoy this. I really love it. I love making a difference. I love the fact that what I do has all these different facets to it. Right? Yeah, I did like that shopping trip. I don't do that so much. That was like a big splurge for me to go and furnish my apartment and everything, and I'm so glad I did. Um, and I'm just really glad to have a nice, I want to just throw out a huge shout out to Harborview and their Shelter Plus Care program, because without that, I would not be housed, um, or continue to be housed. Harborview, you really should. I mean, look up the Shelter Plus Care program. It's amazing, and to have. I mean, I'm sure all of you who have seen my videos from like start to, like from the get back there to the now, can see the change that a healthy habitat has made in me and Rowan, just in so much of, the way we are. So, hi, hi, Nina. Oh, thank you very much. The funny thing about the smile is, and I'm going to throw this, when I was younger, in my 20s, I didn't, I smiled, but I tried never to show my teeth. Um, I always was self conscious about them being crooked and a little jammed together. And it really upset me. Like, I was always conscious, like, I'd start to smile and then I go, and one thing about being being without mirrors, being under a bridge, being dirty, being all of that, it didn't matter anymore. I could smile ear to ear and it just didn't matter because I lost the self consciousness. And and that's a wonderful thing. It really is. And every once in a while, I'll find myself a little conscious of how I look and things, like anybody. But I have to say, for the most part, those things are so trivial. And I think the light within me shines best when I am smiling so hard my cheeks hurt. So, yeah, that's the thing, is as healthy and stable habitat is a basic necessity for any species, and so it is directly connected to health and healthcare. Um, I liked the blonde too, and the curls, but I was ready for a change, and then in a few months I will be ready for a change again. Thank you, Nina. I really appreciate that. All right, everybody, I am going to get going though, and I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And if I think of any subjects between here and there, I will definitely be on again to talk about them. All right. Talk to you later. Bye. Oh, thank you, Jill.